Basically, a mop ability is a mathematically overpowered ability. It's ability that it stacks multiplicatively, like it gains stacks, and they stack multiplicatively, and then and it has item support. And when you have that, any champion or any item levels you put on that champion are more useful than on other champions, and they don't run into the same diminishing returns on that specific item as they would for other items in their kit and on and other items on other champions. Um, which means you can just keep putting tons of item levels into them, and they get better and better and better. This is why Artemis and Krond and Warduke are all considered big deals. It's because they have a mop ability, and thus they're really good targets for item levels. The champion who has a mop ability that isn't that great as a Hoover? No. I see where you're going with it. You're saying they suck, but I would say, I don't know. I wouldn't call that, I would call them mop. Like, that's a vacuum cleaner, right? I would say Briv is a vacuum cleaner. Briv is a Hoover. And because he will suck up every last blacksmithing contract you have. Yeah, Briv would be the Hoover in this scenario. All vacuums do suck, but a mop isn't a vacuum. We understand that, right? So a mop who isn't good doesn't become a vacuum cleaner. That's why I was like, that doesn't really work. But anyway, ultimately the point is you would still want lots of item levels on Diana. Capping, you're going to get a lot of functionality out of capping your speed item. Now, how you want to do that is up to you. You don't want to do it with blacksmithing contracts, that's your call. It's your game. Play it however you want to. But there is a valid reason why you might want to just go ahead and cap that, and it's that she has a super efficient functionality on one of her abilities based off her item levels. Right, I don't have any speed potions, right? Not that I want to use for 225 areas. Okay, so this is Thine Bounty is Mine. Next up is going to be Spine Nuisances. This is the problem. This might be the last of the 225s. I need to hold on. I need to go look. So let's. I'm Not So Alone is on the list. The 250. This quest stinks. I did not put on the list. Is it 225? I think that might be fine. I think we can do that. So we would do Spine Nuisances, then this quest stinks, then Home Not So Alone. Should be here. We could do Review by the Blackstaff at 250. Well, if we needed one. So how many are we going to need? Let me count that. We're at 36. We're doing 37 right now. We need 8 more. So 8 more if we start with Spine Nuisances. 1, 2. I think I might have more than 8 here. That's fine. We want to do the quickest ones. The Home Not So Alone into Review by the Blackstaff into Flame Skull. Okay. Basically, just trying to come up with a list of the quickest and thus the lowest, lowest things. I mean, we can click through because we can click through to, over 200. We should be able to click all the way into the 225s for these and potentially into the 250s by the time we get there. So it should be fine. Here comes eating contracts faster than a triple for you. The problem is he's not replicating. I mean, you're at a chance to skip 3 areas. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get up there. Does you need to do them all to get the last variant with the Modron chest? That's not my target here. My target is just to get Alcoria. While it is neat that you can get, I mean, you can get 5 Modron chests here. Whee! And that is neat. I could also get 5 over here. We didn't do that either. Oh, no, not here. Wrong place. Chult. There's 5 over here too. We didn't go for that. That's stuff that I do later because you want the power to be able to clear them quickly. And at this point, I don't know that I'd be clearing them quickly. We're doing the stuff that's quickly, but I find that the bench isn't, like, usually at this point your bench isn't necessarily deep enough, and so you're going to struggle a bit. You slow down a bit. Yeah. I think right now I really am just trying to get through. I'm not going to say racing towards, but in a sense I am racing towards Baldur's Gate, unlocking trials, unlocking I'll have Strahd and Zariel around that time, and then I'll be able to do all those efficient patron variants. I'll be set into the mid game at that point. What I want to do I could do any of those things, but like my Modron core isn't even, my fast core isn't even to 3 yet. That's the one I care about most. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, getting more pipes is great, but if the core that I want to use them on isn't even leveled up, then it doesn't mean anything. But yeah, going back and doing all the variants in a campaign including to get to the capstone variant on the completed campaigns, which so far are just Tomb and Waterdeep. It's definitely a goal at some point, but it's not an early game goal in my opinion. But I already unlocked it. No, it's not up here. You have to complete Baldur's Gate, Descent into Avernus, like the storyline, to unlock trials. I don't have trials. I have Split the Party 2, and I have 2 patrons, and on Wednesday we'll have 3 because we'll have 40 champions, and I'll have this by then. Yeah, no trials on this yet. Usually I get to, on my old accounts, like on the old, new player accounts that I did, I would get to trials and I maybe do a couple things after that, then I would stop. We're going to go further this time. I just don't know how far. I haven't decided on that yet. Okay, there's our 225 with click damage. Night, Buddy Beast. Get Crux. Oh. That's really heavy into. That's really heavy in the mid game. And speed champions and item levels, I feel like it's a lot. I mean, the last time I did this, I couldn't even get Xeraphon. I got through Icewind Dale, tried that variant, and just fell over. But I was like 200 areas away. So. What I don't want is for this to become like another grind account, like where I feel like I gotta do all this stuff. I mean, I am trying to, post all of the runs we do to YouTube, but that doesn't mean we're going to post every piece of content in the game from this account. And trials in the first month of an account. Oh, I mean, if I had just raced to that, sure. Here's the problem. If I just race to that, I don't have epics on any. Like, I might have a couple epics, and they're mainly on core and evergreen. So then it feels like it's kind of not useful. I guess what happened the last time I played through. So I had a couple epics on event champions for deep pushing, and it just felt like I was sitting on scales. But I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing because it is a timed thing. I mean, if you want to race to that, sure. But you also run into the thing of, well, if you race to it, can you do the, I mean, you should be able to get into a group and do starter trials, but like the normal trial. Can you go much further? If you do, you're getting carried probably. Problem when you race towards any of this, any specific target, the natural accumulation of power you would have gotten along the way by doing kind of a normal push towards that, you don't get. And so you end up, potentially really weak and unable to do stuff. Which when I was doing my speed rush, yeah, I didn't have enough power to then to really go any further. I could do the base adventures in places, but I couldn't do the evergreen unlocks. I just couldn't do the variants. But on that account, my whole goal was to race through and get to a Briv gem farm as quickly as possible. So in reality, what I would have done if I'd continued to play that account is just set it up to Briv gem farm and dump contracts in until all the speed champions were maxed, and then start boosting up all of the other champions I had, and then that would have been the power that would have got me through things. You're waiting on epics and favor, yeah, because you are favor limited. But I mean, I feel like tier 5 is like epic or legendary level 5 is probably the highest you really need to go to be able to push your way up through trials. And let's see, to go from one, like level 1 is just EO5, 2 is E10, 3 is E15, E20. So you would only need to have a minimum of E25. So anything you had over E25, you could spend down to E25 to get up to like a level 5, which isn't that bad. If you had the scales for it, it'd be what you'd need to get E31 favor somewhere, and you could do it just in one, and you could throw 5 levels on it. Oh no, you only need 4 levels, so E30. 40, 29, 20, 20, yeah. Or E29 even. So it doesn't feel too bad. Like I could do that on this account. Because we're E37 in Helms. We could get into the E30s everywhere. So technically this account could level up to 5. It's just that you slow down a lot doing those favor runs, right? Well, Nathless, I mean, Ledieth has a 3-jump rib video. But yeah, I mean, getting to the point where I'm like, I've been dumping onto Human since I got them. We're still at what? 118. We still have a blue as well. We need the epic. It ain't great. 64% with 2 adjacencies. Oh, this should be here. What are we at? 76%. I don't even have 100% with 3 adjacencies. So it takes a while. Natural accrual, it takes a while. You really got to get into some serious gem farming to see a difference. Ooh, gold chest. Natural gold. Oh! Got an epic for Jam Jam. And a huge clairvoyance potion, which is like, we needed that at the top of the stream. I could have bought one at the top of the stream. Probably should have, since we did a deep run, but like from a patron, because we bought the speed potion from a patron. All right, Valiant Eagle, thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Wonder when I'll get the updated inventory system. Are you on the CNE client? Because if so, good luck. I don't understand what they do there. I don't understand at all. I can't believe they're that far behind in patches. Because that came out on Monday. Came out on Monday. Well, no, it's Nathalis, you're not. How do I explain this? There's no way to make a guide for every specific person's power. So you're not paying attention. You're ignoring their legendaries and their item levels. You're listening to the concept of how to balance it. So that guide should work. I don't have a 3-jump brief to test it with. But you're listening to the concepts. You're not trying to identically match everything. That's not what those guides are for. That's not even what my guides are for. Briv, you can't do that with Briv Gem Farm. Welcome back, Lydia. So you just got to focus on like the concept of how you set up the formation, how you tweak it. With that one, it's specifically a 3-jump Briv in Beast Intentions with Azaka as your gas and brake, right? That's what you're looking for. And you're basically saying, well, if you have a perfect 3-jump Briv, if you go and you have Azaka, if you go to Beast Intentions, you should that should help you replicate. You can't just do exactly what they do, but you're listening to how you tweak things, how you adjust things. Why is it that it's Beast Intentions? I don't know. That's hopefully all that gets explained. Let me look at Beast Intentions. I didn't think that was a good. I think the problem I had with Beast Intentions is doesn't it have ranged bosses with melee enemies? Mine always hung up on those at some point. It has at least one range. The first boss is a ranged boss with a melee, but it is outdoors, so it would be getting the buff, so maybe that overrides it. Yeah. Outdoor and indoor bad zones. Zone bans are extremely wide. For me, I preferred when I was a lower level. When I was a rich man. I don't know. Wait, no. If I was a rich man, I liked Terror in the Dark, but with Neris. That was my jam because it's all melee bosses. So that's what when I was first getting my Briv to 4 jump, I took him all the way through the band up to 4 using Terror in the Dark because it was ultra reliable. It didn't have any with Neris as my gas and brake. Didn't have any areas where I'd get hung up on a boss. I tried a bunch of different adventures before I fell into that one, and it's because I would try some, I'd get it all what I thought it was set up as, and then I'd come back after being AFK watching TV or whatever, and I'd be stuck on a boss area where it was a ranged boss with melee enemies. Or no, it's the other way around. I got it backwards. It's a melee boss with ranged NPCs. I didn't check that. If it's a melee boss with ranged NPCs, what can happen is the boss can enrage, giving you enough damage to kill it, but then you never have enough damage to kill the ranged NPCs. Let me go back and look. Because that's a different scenario. I got it backwards. Let me look at Beast Intentions again. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Dang it. That's got range. That's got melee. That's got melee. Melee. That's melee. That's melee. Yeah, you're fine. Beast Intention should be fine, actually. It's all bosses with melee. Like it's melee bosses with melee trash mobs. I think the reason I didn't do that back then is because I was using Neris. Or maybe I was using Minsk. I may have been using Minsk. I don't know. I think I was using Minsk back then. It just wouldn't work that way. This should be fine. Because even the Fey boss, the ranged boss has ranged minions with it, so they're all sticking pretty much together, so it should work. But I don't have a 3 jump to test that out with. So. Back up to 11,000 gems. Yeah, everybody should have ads for like another 45 seconds or something. 40 seconds. Just look up. Oh, see, look, it's the ad progress thing up there. Makes way more sense than me looking over here. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, so the thing is, there aren't a minimum number of ads. There's a minimum time of ads, and it's 90 seconds, or it should be. If you're getting ads, it should be serving 90 seconds of ads. That could be that could be 10 9-second ads. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, so here's how important ads are. Uh, I get about half of my yeah, about half of my Twitch revenue is from ads. So, you know, count up all the subs that I'm usually getting, and then take all of the ads and the credit I get from people who use Twitch Turbo, and it's roughly about the same. It's roughly about the same. So it helps, for people who can't afford to sub, or who also sub, but if you still want to support, like, well, if you sub, you're not getting ads, but so if you can't sub, you watching ads actually helps quite a bit. Helps quite a bit. Twitch Turbo is just it. You shouldn't get ads anywhere on Twitch. Well, I don't know how that works. Honestly, I've never gotten it. I think you're not supposed to get ads at all. But what they'll do is they'll still pay people because you're not subbing to a channel. They'll still pay people with like me for the ads the ad revenue they would have gotten if it wasn't for Twitch Turbo. Yeah, there's times where I've subscribed to a lot of channels and then it's like, wait, I don't have that kind of money anymore. I need to unsub to some of these. So, hey, Kung Fu Banana, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Much appreciated. So yeah, there's different ways to support the channel. There's subs, there's gift subs, there's cheering with bits, there's like via Twitch, there's all of that, and then there's just watching the stream and not using an ad blocker. It helps. Hey, Lurking Rider. All right, there we go. There's Thine Bounty is mine. 450 gems.